Hello friend, welcome back. In this video, I will show you how you can create some of the custom filter for your project. For doing this, first of all, we have to create one of the folder in our first application. Into the first application here, I want to create one of the folder, and I just name it as a whatever you want. So right now I'm name it as a template tags. I just name it as a template tags. So now I just create this folder, so you can see that is actually the folder. So into this folder area, I want to create two files. First of all, I want to create one of the file for our filter as a my underscore filters. Okay, I just name it as a my underscore filters dot file. So that is a my underscore filters dot file. And also I want to create another init file. You can see they have also by default one of the init file. So now I want to create another init file in our this project area. So that means in our this folder area. So here will be double line, that means the double underscore and then the init. Okay, and then also again that double underscore and then the file. So you have to create it. So I just simply create that things on here. So now here we don't need this here. I only want to create it, and then in our my filters area, that means my filters py area. So right now we don't need this base HTML. Also we don't need this. Okay. So here first of all I want to import our building one of the template functions. So I want to defining it as a form. So here I define as a form and then Django. Then the import, I want to import as a template. Okay, I just import the template, and then you have to write down as a register. So that is the register, and then here you have to define with this template. Okay, with this template you have to define that is your library, that means the template library. So I just simply define the template library. And after that, I want to do for our my filters, I want to create one of the function. So if you want to create that function, what exactly you have to do? You have to define as a div, and that I want to define that function name as a my filter. Okay, I name it as a my filter, and here I define some of the value. Okay, I take one of the parameter as a value. So with this value, you can actually return some of the value. Like I show you, I just simply define as a return, and then return and the value. So into this value I want to add some of the another data. So first of all it should be show our this value. Into this value it should be add with the another string data. So I just simply define another string data as a like this is this is a starting from custom filter. Okay, so this type of one of the text I have to define, and then also I define our all that library in our register, right? So into the register area, so that is actually the register. So into this register area you have to define your filter, and into this filter you have to define your ID. Okay, that means for this filter I want to, if you want to display this filter to another area, then you have to define that things with this some of the ID, right? So I just simply define of the ID name as a custom. Okay, I name it as a custom underscore filter. I name it as a custom filter, and then here I have defined our this value, and I take the things with this function. I just simply define our this function name. Okay, I just simply define this function name. So now here where exactly you want to display it. Okay, so now you can display your this custom. They have some of the value. You can display it with this ID, and also that is our my filter. So here I have created this function. So now right now I want to actually display it in our template index. That means here. So here I have defined already our sample text, right? So into the view, here into the view area I have defined that sample text. So better I want to define some of the text on here. Okay, I just simply define some of the text as a sample. Okay, sample text. So this type of one of the text I want to visible. Okay, and then it should be display this sample text on here. So first of all, if you want to display it, you have to load your this filter. Okay, that means this function as a my filter, you have to load it. So that is our page into the our fast tab. Into the fast tab area, I have defined this page as a my filters, right? So first of all, you have to load it. So after this extent, okay, after this extent here, I want to load this with the double percentage, and then I want to unload our my underscore filters. Okay, that means that is actually our filters. So I just simply define as a my and then filters. So now I just simply remove it. Here I want to display our custom field. So right now, if you save it, so you have to save it first, and after that you have to run your server again. So I just simply remove it, and when you run, automatically it should be created one of the folder in particular that area. Okay, you can see it's already created one of the folder. Like here, I just run our server again as a Python, and that manage.py and the run server. So I just simply run our server. So now if you go and if you now refresh it, and now it's showing as a context must be dict rather than set. So maybe I did some of the wrong. So that is our sample text in our view here. That is our sample text ID. Here you can see I just defined that comma. It should be as a clone. So that is our sample text. I just simply define our sample text will be as a sample text into the index. Here I have defining it, right? So that is our sample text. So now let's check this out again. I just click as a save all. So there have some of the silly mistake. I define as a comma. It should be as a clone, right? So now I just simply define. You can see server is now running. Refresh it. Yeah, now you can see it's now showing as a sample text. Okay, so now I want to add our custom ID. That means custom filter I have created. So here I have created our custom filter as a custom filter ID. That is our custom filter. I just simply copy it. Now in our index. So after this, I want to use it. So you have to use it with the pipeline, and then I define our custom filter name as a custom filter. So into the custom filter, I have defined our this value, right? That means automatically, first of all, it should be display our value. That means our keyword that I have defined as a text. And after that, it should be added this value. Okay, so now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all. So now if you refresh it, yes, now you can see friend, now it's showing as a sample text, and after that here I have created one of the custom filter, and with this custom filter I display some of the value. Okay, so now we can successfully created one of the filters. So that is our custom filter in our template tags area. So with this you can actually create it. So that is how, that is actually our ID. This ID I have passed. So that is our custom filter in index. After that I just simply define our filter name. Perfect. So now you can see after that is added our this filter name. So friend, that's all actually the basic. So when you will use it in our project, then it should be much more clear to you. In our next video, I will start a new session. It's about that how can create the code application with using that MySQL. So as I told you before, so that is actually Django by default one of the admin panel. That means by Django by default one of the database, right? So now how you want to do, I want to create one of the code applications. That means how can create data, how can read data, how can insert data, and how can delete data and update data. So that is actually the code applications. How can create the code application with using that MySQL. In our next video, I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.